Dr. David McCullough will now present the commencement address.
May I just... President Bulger, Chancellor Penny, distinguished faculty, members of the Board of Trustees, fellow honorees, members of the class of 1998, who will be forever known by conferral of your president as the great class of 1998. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been thinking what two beautiful words they are. University, Massachusetts. University, from the Latin origin universal. University, an idea and an ideal going back more than 1,000 years. And Massachusetts, an American word, a Native American word. Meaning near the great mountain. Put them together. How potent. University of Massachusetts. One would think they could hardly be improved upon. And then you add Boston. The University of Massachusetts, Boston. Pure music. And it need never have happened. That's among the most important of all the lessons of history and of life. There's so much, so very much around us that might never have happened, were it not for a host of qualities called imagination, commitment, courage, creativity, and determination, maybe that most of all. There were all kinds of seemingly good reasons why this university should never have happened. There was already the University of Amherst. There were already many distinguished universities in Boston, and weren't they enough? But there were men and women who thought differently, who were inspired by the idea not just of a public city university, but one of first rank, with a first-rank faculty, and not just for any city, but for Boston. And they made it happen. A strong public university in Boston, founded on the sound principle that in a vital community, as in one's life, education ought never to stand still. Chancellor Penny, in her invitation to me to take part in your commencement, one of the most generous, gracious letters I've ever received, used the word numinous. I had to look it up to be sure. It's a good word. It means pertaining to the spirit or spiritually elevated. Rising above the old city of Florence, Italy, is the magnificent cathedral Santa Maria del Fiore. It was built in the Renaissance in the mid-15th century, nearly 50 years before Columbus sailed. It wasn't Gothic, it wasn't Romanesque, it was something brand new. And there it is still, rising 350 feet into the sky, as beautiful as ever, truly numinous. The architect was the incomparable Filippo Brunelleschi. But when praised for his genius in what he'd done, he said, and this is what I hope you'll remember, he said, "The credit is not mine, the credit belongs to Florence. The credit for this university, the credit for this joyous occasion belongs to Boston. Like so very much else that has enlarged and enriched American life, great works of literature, great works of architecture, music, strides in science, new ideas, noble causes. It was here in Boston that the first school in America was established. Here that the American Revolution began. Here that the abolition movement took hold. Leonard Bernstein and Martin Luther King were educated here. How many very gifted and intrepid souls have embarked from these very shores, figuratively and literally. Once more than 200 years ago, late in the day at dusk, on a bitter cold winter day, a father and his small young son embarked in secret from the beach just down the way, here in the neighborhood, not 3 miles from where we are. They were 2 future presidents of the United States, John Adams and his 11-year-old son, John Quincy Adams. The year was 1778, in the midst of Revolutionary War. John Adams was bound 3,000 miles over the sea in the dead of winter to seek French support for the American cause. And there was every reason in the world why he could have refused the mission, why it need not have ever happened. No one sailed the Atlantic in winter if it could possibly be avoided. Enemy cruisers lay just outside the city. Adams was leaving his home, his family, his profession, his livelihood, everything he loved, and risking his life, risking capture, and who knew what horrors at the hands of the enemy. He felt ill-suited for diplomacy. He had no training in diplomacy, no experience. He spoke no French, the language of diplomacy. He had never in his life laid eyes on a king or a queen or the foreign minister of a great power, or set foot in a city of more than 30,000 people. But go he did. With his overriding sense of duty, his ardor for his country, there was never really any doubt about his going. If he was new to diplomacy, so was every other American. If he was unable to speak French, he could learn. He could learn. Adams did well on the far side of the Atlantic. He secured vital loans. He played a key part in the Treaty of Paris, thought to be by diplomatic historians the most advantageous treaty ever signed by the United States of America. And he served as our first ambassador to Britain, his former enemy. The boy, John Quincy, as it turned out, would travel all the way to St. Petersburg in Russia at age 14 and back. An unbelievable, epic, almost unheard of adventure at that time, and the start of a life of diplomatic missions in the service of his country. The lessons of history are manifold. Nothing happens in isolation. Everything that happens has consequences. We are all part of a larger stream of events, past, present, and future. We are all the beneficiaries of those who went before us, who built the cathedrals, who braved the unknown, who took risks, who gave of their time and their service and who kept faith in the possibilities of the human mind and of the human spirit. An astute observer of old, of John Adams' day, wrote that history is philosophy with examples. Harry Truman liked to say, the only new thing in the world is the history you don't know. From history, we learn that sooner is not necessarily better, that what we don't know can indeed hurt us very often and badly, and that there is no such thing as a self-made man or woman. We all got where we are, as did everyone before us, with the help of others. A sense of history is a strong antidote to self-pity and self-importance, of which there is much too much in our time. To a large degree, history is a lesson in proportions. History reminds us that nothing counterfeit has any staying power. And incidentally, that's an observation made by Cicero about 60 BC. History teaches us, maybe history teaches us above all, that character counts above all. I am extremely grateful for this high honor from the university, and proud, as all my fellow honorees are, to count ourselves now as alumnus of this university. To you, the graduating class, the warmest congratulations. You are here because you've done a lot of hard work. Me too. But more than most, I know you've shown again and again great determination to achieve what you have. And I think I have some idea of how many reasons there were in your lives that this day might not have happened. But you made it happen. And you will keep on making it happen. And if your experience is anything like mine, the most important books in your life you have still to read. And you will keep reading. You will read for pleasure. You will read to enlarge your lives. You will read history and biography and learn from the lives of others. Read Marcus Aurelius and Yeats. Read Cervantes, and soon, don't wait until you're past 50, as I did. Read Emerson and Willa Cather and Flannery O'Connor and Langston Hughes. Read a wise and sparkling book called While the Music Lasts by an author named William Bulger. And see especially page 19, where he describes his own discovery of books and what he calls the unguided adventure of books. The world needs you. There is great, large work to be done, good work, and you can make a difference because you already have shown what a difference you can make. You can make a great difference, believe me. It's said, it's written, you hear it on television, you hear talk about it, that your generation is apathetic, that idealism is in decline, that patriotism is out of fashion. I don't believe it. Whatever your work, whatever your life work, take it seriously and enjoy it. Let's not ever be the kind of people who do things lukewarmly. If you're going to ring the bell, give that rope one hell of a pull. I wish you the fullest, most meaningful lives possible. Lives full of love and ringing bells. And I have two heartfelt suggestions for you. Come back to the university as time goes on and tell those people on the faculty from whom you benefited most how much they mattered in your life. And in the spirit of John Kennedy, sometime, someday, somewhere along the line, do something for your country.
Thank you, Dr. McCullough, for those inspiring words. I would now like to introduce student trustee Michael G. Murray, who will deliver congratulations to the graduates.